Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is Enterprise Friday. The political crisis that has engulfed Rivers State seems very far from an early resolution. This week alone, 27 lawmakers of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, called time on their membership of the party and instead chose to pitch their tent with their main opposition, All Progressive Congress, APC. What followed that action 2 days later was the demolition of the State House of Assembly by the state government. The government cited safety reasons, especially because the assembly complex where the lawmakers sat to make that resolution had been, wait for it, bombed in late October. Now, yes, it was bombed, but yet to be known excellent, but it was a powerful action that staved off an attempted impeachment of the governor by lawmakers and extended his shelf life up to this moment. Moments after the demolition, Mr. Governor proceeded to present the 2024 budget to the rump of the State House of Assembly, comprising just 5 members who you want to think worked really, really hard to pass a budget of 800 billion naira in less than 24 hours. While the lawmakers were busy poring over the budget for an accelerated passage, 4 of the governor's commissioners penned their letters of resignation and have since left the cabinet. In all of this, the governor seems to be consolidating his power more and more. In the studios this morning, my guests are Dr. Olayinka Oyebule, who was here earlier for our newspaper reviews, and joining us in the studios right about now is Evans Ofeli, the barrister with the rabbinical inclinations. Gentlemen, you're welcome to Enterprise Friday this morning. Now, the big story for some time now in Nigeria has been the Rivers State crisis, and it's been up, down. Every other time we keep having, more information trickling in to the public domain and all that. But the question today is, Rivers is rolling in deep crisis. 4 commissioners already gone, more to follow. Will the government of Mr. Fubara collapse? Is it possible, Mr.
The government
Evans?
of Fubara will not collapse. It will not collapse. There is no law that says you must appoint or have the complete minister at every point in time. Commissioners.
Yes, commissioners.
At every point in time, you must have a full and all that. Sometimes even governors reshuffle their cabinets. Okay, and sometimes they lay off commissioners and appoint new ones or replace them and all that. So it happens. The government will not collapse. The truth is that, and there's no law that says that a budget must take a particular length of time, whether 24 hours, whether 1 month, whether 2, 3. There's no law that says it must be. What we know about legislation is that if there's a bill before a governor or a president, if he does not sign it within 30 days, it means he has vetoed it.
Okay.
That's what it means. Okay, that's what we know about it. But as to how short it took him to sign it, it's not an issue of dispute under the law.
Okay.
It is when it takes him 30 days and he did not, that is when it is interpreted to mean that he has vetoed it. It then goes back to the House. So that is the position of the law. The crisis has gotten to a stage where parties are beginning to know their fate. The reason these commissioners are resigning was because they were all appointed by Wiki.
Exactly.
You understand? So the government just gave a nod to it and all that. So now that I thought they would learn their lesson, now that the 26 members or 27 members, as it were, say one return, have left. Their seats are vacant as far as the law is concerned. Okay, I thought that the commissioners will take a clue from there, but they seem to be also loyal to Wike, who, by the way, is still in PDP. but working at cross purpose with the party is in PDP, but there are lawmakers who have moved to APC at his instance, unwittingly. You understand? So at the end of the day, what you have is that Wike does not want to function as the FCT minister and does not want his state to also function. So for me, I think that's the height of patriotism. You understand? He's supposed to, even if you have to leave trails of your influence, those trails of your influence should be for the betterment of the state. If the governor is erring, you can say, with 8 years experience I have, don't go this direction. This is the best way you will do this and you'll succeed. But here, he just wants to do everything on behalf of the substantive governor. So what is the essence of having a governor? There's no need to have a governor. All we need to have done was to be the FCT minister and still be the governor of Rivers State. That's what he wants to do. And nobody can do that and sustain that under democratic system. So I think it's a wrong thing to do. But as to whether he signed a budget within 24 hours, it makes no difference. It's only the adverse party have not gone to court. We don't know whether they are going to go to court to contest the legality or otherwise of their expulsion. They are actually the ones that expel themselves, whether they are situated and all that. So the days to come, it's going to be a long night for the West States.
But do you see any adverse effect? Of course, you have rightly said the Constitution is not in any way in doubt if the duration of passing the budget and all. But do you see any adverse effect in the offing that might come as a result of having this passed in less than 24 hours in the economy?
That's what I have said. I mean, the passage of the budget is to ensure that governance subsists and continue in the state. You understand? They just demolished the the House of Assembly. They have to rebuild it. Okay.
So part of the budget.
I'm telling you that they have to rebuild it now. They have to rebuild it. Now the state has to function. They have to pay salary. You understand? They have to ensure that critical infrastructure projects that will attract investors, they have to put it, governance has to go on. And the reason they are doing this is to further weaken Wike. Okay, because before now, Wike had thought that with this defection, these persons will gain traction and then impeach. That was a calculation. But it was a wrong and unwitting calculation because the optics, the legal optics, were actually against that decision. So what they are going to have now is that these guys have been put in at abeyance because the 5 or the 4, they are functioning as the full house. That is what they look like.
Yes.
And they are functioning as a full house. And it has never happened in the history of Nigeria that a bill was passed, a bill like a budget like this was passed. Howbeit it was passed by 4 persons, and then the adverse parties went to court and have the bill reversed or have the budget reversed. It's not in our law. It has not happened. So, like I advised yesterday on talking about this, I said if I were to do, I would have waited for an end to congratulation, replace those people, they do that. But in the same vein, these persons on their own volition cause a fait accompli on their own political career by jettisoning their seats. And now this is what we have playing out.
Dr. Olayinka, do you share in the same submission with Dr. Evans? A fellow would say that this government is government of magic. So do you share in the same submission with Dr. Evans?
You see, what has happened, in literature, we call it farcical or absurdist theater.
Okay.
Unfortunately, at the expense of Rivers State people. Because it is only in an absurdist theater that, or a farcical comedy, that this kind of thing will happen. Yes, there is, as he said, there is no length of time allocated that, okay, the budget must be considered in so days or hours. But you have 4 or 5 people passing a budget of 800 billion in less than 24 hours, and then the governor signed it. Did they go through all the items with fine-tooth comb?
Exactly. True.
I mean, so fella called it government magic. In fact, this is real government magic. Because a budget, what is a budget supposed to be? A budget is supposed to be projections. What do you intend to spend money on? So now, assuming in that budget, if, I'm not saying that is what happened.
Okay.
Assuming the budget and the governor had budgeted 3 billion to feed his dogs, if he has dogs, and then they just passed it, just like that, in 1 year. Or maybe he has 2 or 3 dogs, and then he budgeted 3 billion to feed those dogs, and they just passed it. And it has become a law.
Yeah.
So they can't reverse it now. So what I think is that the thing going on in Rivers, it beggars belief. I'm still trying to wake up and say that, is it reality? Is it really happening? What is? How can that have happened? When you look at it, I am one of those at the initial stage who supported what the governor was doing.
That's Mr.
Fubara.
Fubara. Yeah.
Why do I support him? I support him based on one thing, one Yoruba proverb that says that if you give a person a goat, you give him or her with the rope, the leash. You don't dash me a goat and then hold on to the leash. Because that means you are not giving it to me. For crying out loud. Fubara is the governor, as they like, executive, because there is no non-executive governor. Fubara is the governor of the state now. What Wike is trying to do now was exactly the same thing he fought against when it was Mrs. Jonathan that made him governor through her husband. He fought her, and now he wants to. As I said the other time, no dog, no matter how fierce a dog is, can police 2 houses. You are Minister of Federal Capital Territory. That is big enough for you. Why do you want to pretend over the affairs of the state again? So, I think that what is going on there is a very, very unfortunate thing for the people. Now, why I said I supported the governor initially is that he's trying to exercise his own independence. But the idea of demolishing the State House Assembly, on my social media handle, I asked a question. Do people, especially powerful people, do they ever go to prison in Nigeria for willful destruction of government property? Because as far as I'm concerned, what the governor did is willful destruction of government property. The property belongs to the citizens of Rivers State. Why should he go and destroy it?
But if that was the only reason for him to stay put, does that...
Oh, so he must stay put at the expense of the citizens. I mean, look, these are two, as they say, when 2 elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. And that is exactly what is happening. Fubara is fighting Wike. And because of the 2 of them, the machinery of the state must be grounded. What kind of democracy are we practicing in Nigeria? Where one man will tend to determine the fate of every citizen. For goodness sake, these people were voted in by people. So if Wike disagrees with Fubara, then the whole state must grind to a halt. I mean, it is a very dangerous signal that we are setting. This to me is not democracy at all. It is just a case of 2 people having an ego problem between themselves. And then the state must pay dearly for it.
Now, some political enthusiasts
Yeah.
have analyzed and have come to a conclusion that the destruction or the demolition of the State House is like, deleting the history of Rivers State. Now, what begs the question is why, in spite of the gravity of that intent, why is it difficult for President Tinubu not to have come in just like he did for Ondo State?
Well, in all honesty, well, it's good for the president to intervene, but the first intervention, where did he get them? It was his intervention at the first lane, in the first instance,
Okay.
that led to the initial camp.
True.
You know, he intervened
Yes,
at
yes,
the initial
yes.
stage that led to the initial camp. But now, the initial camp has boiled over.
So why is it still not extending? Because he is the father of the nation. Destroying the Harlow chambers is a smear to democracy,
Yeah.
which he
You
presides
know,
over. So why isn't he doing
I
enough?
think the problem in this case here is this. The president, yes, is the president of Nigeria, and he should not have a party. There shouldn't be party. He shouldn't say because it's not his party that is in power there. But what I see there, in all honesty, is the absence of leadership in both political parties. Because the governor is a PDP member. The president and the chairman of the PDP or the leadership of PDP, unless maybe I missed it, I've not heard anything from them in all this brouhaha. I'm not sure they've issued a statement or they've done anything. So is it that they want to leave the whole place until every law breaks down, or what? And what exactly is the usefulness, or maybe because I'm not a member, what is the usefulness of Wike in PDP up till now that they have not expelled or suspended him? You know he has dared them.
Yes.
Somebody like former governor of Ekiti State, who has not done half of what Wike has done to the party,
Yes.
Was expelled. But Wike still continues or continues to claim that he's still a member of the party, but he's doing everything to make sure he destroys that party. Because all those 27 who defected to APC wouldn't have done so without his go-ahead. So, now, what is the leadership of the PDP doing? Don't let us, yes, we want to draw the president in because the president is the president of Nigeria, but it is not his party. So, the way he intervened in the Ondo crisis might be different from the way he will intervene in the Rivers crisis, because the party concerned, if not because of Wike, the president will not have anything to do with Rivers in terms of brokering peace and all that. So now, what I think should happen is that the leadership of the PDP itself must call themselves together and find a way to deal with what is going on. That Wike is like a bull in a china shop. You must be careful. You must find a way to steer him out of the shop, or else things will get destroyed.
But Evans, I have two questions for you. Constitutionally, is there a place in there that provides immunity for the governor in issues like this, where he can randomly just take up any decision and do it because he is the officer of the state? Then secondly, let's come back to the budget. He tagged the budget of renewed hope, in sympatical with that of the president. Are we sensing anything?
Well, let me take the first question.
Yes.
By Section 308 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the governor, and the president, the vice president, the governor, the deputy governor all have immunity under our laws. Okay? So that immunity is against criminal prosecution, nothing else.
Okay.
For civil action and all other actions are civil, you can sue the governor, sue the president. But for criminal activity or criminal allegations, you cannot bring such action before a sitting president or a sitting governor. So, that said, well, that in itself does not mean that the president or the governor should behave in manners that are not constitutionally acceptable. Now, on the second question, which has to do with what's the second question?
The budget, which he tagged renewed hope, which is
Yeah,
in.
yeah, the budget renewed hope. The PDP governor, the budget of the country is also called the budget of
renewed hope. Yes.
Well, if you give me the deep thought, I think I don't want to sense anything. I don't think there's anything to sense there. The only thing there is that to say that the speed at which it took to get the budget passed is this. We have forgotten something.
Okay.
In all this discourse, we have forgotten something. The major problem is that Parliament is no longer Parliament at state level.
Yeah.
Because if Parliament were to be what Parliament used to be at the state level, you will not see this divide. One loyal to Wike and the other loyal to Fubara. It is an indictment on the legislature. The state houses,
Terribly.
they have lost their focus, they have lost their powers under the constitution, that now they are now appendages of governors, begging cap in hand. I'm supporting you, I'm on your side, I'm not on your side. In fact, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly is to the legislature what the governor is to the executive at the state level.
Yeah.
But we have thrown that away. Now you have a distorted House of Assembly. You know why? Because governors dictate who becomes
The speaker.
a member of the State House of Assembly. He dictates who becomes the speaker. During the election, he lobbies his candidates who are in the house to vote for a particular person. So the governor actually makes the House of Assembly, which is an aberration. So in times of crisis like this, the parties are divided. They are scrambling for who to support and who not to support, how they will be relevant, how they will be able to retain their seat after now. So that is their focus. Their focus is not lawmaking. It is not legislation. It is not oversight. Otherwise, why should you submit a budget today and the next day it has been passed? You know what they call...
No one has been invited to,
you know what they call
answer questions.
oversight function of the legislature is to look at the budget, break them one after the other, look at the full spread, make inputs, make reservation, make their own agreement and disagreement, and then ask the governor to amend this, amend that, amend this, amend that. Which sometimes it takes sometimes a period of 1 month, 2 months.
Yeah.
You understand? But here, Parliament has lost its relevance. Okay, its power that that it derives from the Constitution, it has taken it like a sacrifice to the extreme side, and has laid it before the cosmos and the gods of the governor. So what is happening now is that they do not know exactly what their powers are any longer and how to wield it. So what they're doing now is just to support the governor or not support this particular person. So that is where the real problem is. Okay, because if it were a place where you have, even though 4 of us will support you, whatever, they will take that budget, and in fact some of them will say, but the house is not full. Some of them would have raised the issue.
Very true.
The house is not full. Let's wait for INEC to conduct election. Some will say, even though the house is not full, this budget on kitchen, this budget on this particular project is too much. Recurrent expenditure is this. Capital expenditure is too weak. You understand? There'll be, in fact, by now, there'll be a robust debate in the House.
Exactly.
Even though there are 4, there'll be, debate on, so that will give the people the dividend of democracy, what it feels like when under democracy. But this one, I'm sure most of them did not even read it. Yes. When was it delivered to them? When did they pass it? Check the time now. I'm sure they never read it. They just send back to the governor. The governor has said, then governance country, this is an aberration. It's not done. Even though the law did not say it's within so time you should do that. But if you look at a proper scrutiny of that budget, if you want to wield your powers under the Constitution of oversight, will take some time.
Yeah.
Will take some time to, understudy the direction of the budget and the policy it is addressed to solve. But in this case, there was no time, just because they want to get back at the 27 members of the Senate member and then Wike. So they are pushing forth. They're just pushing forth. Meanwhile, the law allowed them to still spend according to the 2023 budget for a window, a particular period of time. They will not contravene any law. So they should have used that. That's what I suggested. They should use that window to get this election conducted and have a full house. But like I said, it is not in our laws that a bill, or because budget is executive bill. It actually emanates from the executive. Then, unlike some other bills that are legislative bills that emanate from the legislature, they pass and send for assent. This one it starts from the executive, who makes an estimate. Budget is a statement of intention. It's not actually, but when it becomes law, performance is required according to the tune of that budget. So you are supposed to, the government is supposed to release money based on that. So I think we have come to a point where not only that the legislature have lost their relevance, the executive also are going that path, and the judiciary also going that path. So we must reconsider what governance is in Nigeria and stay to the tenet of democracy rather than what we are doing now.
Your final thoughts, Doctor, but before going that, I would love you to add both together. The avalanche of the effect is already being felt in River State right about now. The Ijaw community, who christened themselves as Awana, are already saying we have to defend our brother. We have to defend our brother. Now, what do you think? Do you think this rift, this division might bring to bear what River State never expected or never saw coming going forward? Just in a minute.
Yeah, you know the start of a fight. You never can predict how it will end, and that is what is happening now. What I see there is that, unfortunately, as I said earlier, in all these fights, the average River State man is not the center of attraction, or is not the center of benefit of them, but the two key people. They are fighting for their own selfish benefits and rights, not the average man. So the way I see it snowballing is that if care is not taken, this might be something that will turn the state upside down, and Nigeria cannot afford to have that at this point. It is one of Nigeria's cash cow states that produce Nigeria's foreign revenue. So every actor involved in this must think before they act.
Very, very true. Rivers is indeed one of Nigeria's cash cows, and I don't think we need, any chaos or crisis in the state going forward. I'd love to say a big thank you to Dr. Olayinka Oyebile for being part of our show. Thank you so very much for coming. And Barrister Evans Ufeli, thank you so very much also for making it on our studios today. And to all our viewers around the world, we'd love to say thank you so very much for always making our time to watch our contents. But please do remember to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Enterprise TV 7. Press the notification bell so you get notified whenever we drop our content. I am Henry Ikwibike. I'll see you next week on Enterprise Friday. Please don't go anywhere.
Enterprise TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.